Hey, Mob Psycho 100 is pretty good. Bold statement, huh? Much like its autorial cousin, One Punch Man, its quality comes from the dichotomy of the surface level action being awesome, but the subtext below that action being tactfully subversive. In rewatching the show, I wanted to explore that subversion. One great example occurred in episode 3, but first, a little preface. Look at this cute little mob. Goddamn, what a bowl cut. If you think about it, the bowl cut in many ways could be considered anime's counter of traditional moe. It's usually a pretty classic hairstyle to demarcate childish personality. Itsuki looks like an absolute dolt. Mind you, the undercut isn't doing him any favors either. I guess we could argue this more on a full-on explicit bowl cut. For example, Rock Lee and Guy from Naruto. These men are not moe. In fact, they're usually the punchline of a gag, showing how sheerly stupid they look. Yet end of the day, they take utter pride in that foolishness. That strange energy both of them embody is similar to one of the subversions that makes Mob Psycho 100 rule. Mob is the opposite of traditional moe in the way he's drawn. You can kind of increase that by juxtaposing him on his crush. Homegirl could be considered pretty classic moe. She simultaneously looks so awkwardly out of place, yet her art style almost places her on a pedestal in how out of place she looks. It's why she's a great foil for Mob. Now look at this dude. Man's got the bowl cut, some dead-ass eyes, no defining body features, soulless expression. Mob is a canvas that anybody can paint on. It's why his exploding psychosis works, because it's such a juxtaposition to his normal self. The juxtaposition is impeccable. Thing is though, the base awkwardness of Mob's look doesn't only serve narrative purpose for the action scenes. The third episode of season 1 of Mob Psycho 100 focuses on Mob being pulled into a cult. The cult's mask is creepy, and the off-putting vibes would shoot off a warning light in any normal person's head. We the audience are like, oh nice, cult, ding ding ding, that's a bad thing. Hey, speaking of cults, anybody know when enough time has passed on that Weeko Siege jokes aren't in poor taste anymore? Anyway, yeah, Mob being the smart mob he is gets into the van, because dude, there's candy in that van. What are you, a dumbass? Free candy. Don't pass that up. Mob's candy is the premise of being more alluring. Thing is though, he's not gonna get that. The cult is a facade, and what lies underneath the mask is all the more important to the subtext of the episode that I see. The cult's foundation is warped false positivity, visualized by the manic smiles the entire population has been warped to embody. That distrust in the initial meetup that builds up immediately juxtaposes itself nicely over this smiley attitude. This is effective because it says something about the nature of false positivity, which I'm going to extrapolate to moe. Now clearly, I'm the paragon of critical analysis, and it's tantamount that I include the scientific method in this section to provide the most direct and accurate analysis possible. Both Mob and Misato have the same RBF type visual style of the show. This RBF establishes them both as dependent variables. Point is, she's able to change, but not Mob. So now we have our established experiment. Wow, what a strong argument that wasn't boring at all. At first, Misato's face is warped to the exact same position as the mask, a creepy art style that has a weird manic undertone to it. As she slowly starts to fall into the mask, she transitions. She goes from a warped manic smile to a pretty normal one. Her new face is that which perfectly falls into the conception of moe. Thing is, Mob doesn't fall into that, and that's an important distinction. Sure, on the surface level of the story, it's because he's got his ESP elements protecting him. A story layer under that is the comedic layer, where the comedic swings of Mob being a simpleton throughout the entire episode are wonderful because they keep the tone light. But a layer further below that, there's a subtext of indoctrination towards happiness. This overt false moe versus the true moe of Mob. Mob not falling prey to this stands to the core of the very aesthetic decisions of the entire show. Shigeo transcends moe. He's endearing as hell because of how brutally awkward he looks, because his little moments shine through that. This speaks volumes about the false positivity and kind of sickly kawaii nature anime has come to embody in many respects. Mob Psycho speaks and says, don't fall into the cult of false moe, the cultural development that's been on the rise for far too long at this point. Don't get me wrong, Kyoto Animation is probably my favorite studio, and they push moe like the CIA pushed crack back in the 1980s.
I'ma keep selling that crack in, whipping that dope on the back end.
But in many ways, they tried to trailblaze moe in a way that could have deeper value than just sheer marketability. Yoka, mystery is cute. Clannad, family is cute. Nichijou, inducing psychosis in the audience is cute.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative. It's nice. It gets people going.
Moe needs to have a cyclical purpose. If it's just moe for moe, there's no deeper meaning in that. Some lifeless anime nowadays will feed you the same false bullshit that will keep you in a sunken place of expecting little to no nuance in your characters. This could probably devolve into some grand narrative about feminism and cute girls. Instead, allow me to mount my little tortured artist pulpit and spew some pretentious BS. Cute girls without any added nuance is just reductive and doesn't add any positive angle to art. What it does do is add to a prevailing development where studios implement market-driven decisions, which ultimately comes at the detriment of internal meaning of art. You know, Danmachi's a fun escape, Hestia's cute and all, and a lolly, but moe moe moe. Anyway, Danmachi's great if you want to turn your brain off to the point where it may never return. Due to the fact that you've literally allowed yourself to watch two characters say each other's names back and forth to the point where Kami-sama and Beru-kun will make you want to commit fucking war crimes. Still, there's danger even further in that escape. The false moe vapid show's paint is a dangerous precedent because it allows you to expect less and less of what a studio needs to provide you. JC Staff made some fun shows. I think a lot of their quote-unquote satire is arguably more vapid post-ironic hedonism than it is valuable social commentary. But you know, I like Shokugeki because it had the initial D OP main character with OP dad dynamic. But also tits. JC Staff also produced this shot of Hestia where she looks like she just had a stroke and produced the perfect visual representation of a dial-up internet tone. Hestia's bestia, stop trashing on ma kawaii waifu. It's good if you like cute girls, cute girl moe.
Moe is all that matter. Moe good. Moe this, moe that. I just want a girl for God's sakes.
The shortcomings of the false moe that Hestia embodies in that shot shine a light on what Mob Psycho spits in the face of. You don't have to have the bells and whistles in order to be awesome and endearing. You just gotta have heart. There's far more moe and Mob Soft Smile thinking. Oh fuck, this is hard. I'm trying to do a Cheem's voice. Thinking of cows. Than in any of the disgusting oversaturation in the medium. What I'm saying is that moe should transcend the visual convention at this point. It shouldn't just be an easy out to neglect character depth. And don't be a mindless sheep sticking to the allure of a brick kawaii girl. You gotta suss out the true emotions that embody moe. You gotta be yourself, your true self. That's a moe. If everybody is unspecial, then maybe you can be who you want to be. Waxing poetic about the first OP. Sure nobody's ever done that before. And then yeah, that's the outro. I don't know, I'll do more Mob Psycho 100 content in the future. This show's one that I hold in pretty high regard. Yeah, it's really good. I don't know where to go from here. Alright. I wonder where I got the name from.